A topic of considerable debate and scrutiny is the mapping of desktop to mobile devices. It's a complex subject and there's quite a bit of noise in the marketplace about it. It's important for you to understand the competing approaches, at least at a high level, so that you can make some informed decisions about what's best for your business. The most universal use case is to tie a desktop browser cookie to some desktop ID, usually within an ad exchange, and then to see that same desktop ID from a mobile web browser. Or, often a subtle but important twist is to tie that desktop ID not to a mobile web browser, but instead to the mobile device ID itself so that you can show in-app ads to that user. So that's the first distinction right there. Is it desktop ID to mobile browser or desktop ID to mobile apps? There are two general approaches here, deterministic and probabilistic. I just want to explore the deterministic case right now. Deterministic. Deterministic is a fancy way of saying that you are absolutely sure that there's a match between the mobile and the desktop because there's a shared ID between them. That ID is usually a login ID. So basically, if a user logs into a service on their desktop at home, or their office, or on a laptop at a coffee shop, we can deterministically tie those three devices together. Now if you log into that same service through a mobile browser, say on the Safari browser on your iPad, the service can then drop a cookie on that browser, and that browser will now be tied to the other three devices. Likewise, if the service has an app, and that app is on an iPhone, for example, that iPhone can be tied to the other four devices. You can now serve display ads to the three desktops, mobile display ads to the iPad, and in-app ads to the iPhone. You can think of this as a login footprint. If you're a publisher, this is critically important to you. The more devices you can get users to log into your service with, the larger your login footprint will be. You may log in with your Xbox or your Kindle Fire or your Nook. It all expands that footprint even further and makes the audience even more reachable. This is what makes Facebook so attractive to advertisers. People log in from home and from work and they use Facebook app, they use Facebook mobile web, they log in with their smart TVs and on and on. And of course, there are others like this. There's Netflix and there's Microsoft, there's Google, Amazon, eBay, all good examples of this. So whether you're an advertiser that's seeking a very reliable cross-device mapping, or you're on the other side as a publisher looking for how to add value to your audience, the fundamental driver is the user login. That's the keys to the kingdom.